Within a week, a timeline of the day began to emerge. 2:30 p.m., Deborah's dad comes by with her brother, Philip Netz. 4:45 p.m., Deborah and Philip go buy baby formula and boxed wine. They're seen on store security video. Around 5 o'clock p.m., next-door neighbor Samantha Brando drops by. 5:15 p.m., Jeremy, an electrician, gets a call from his boss and soon leaves to work at a Starbucks, unaware of the chaos and tragedy about to unfold just hours later. 6 p.m., Deborah makes dinner for Samantha, Sam's daughter, as well as Lisa and her two half-brothers, 5-year-old Michael and 7-year-old Blake. 6:30 p.m., Deborah puts Lisa to bed. By 7 p.m., Samantha's daughter and Deborah's boys are inside playing. Baby Lisa is supposed to be in her crib asleep. Both moms sit on the front steps smoking, talking, and drinking. Between 8 and 10 p.m., Shane Beagley, a 33-year-old landscaper who was the grandson of a neighbor, stops by the stoop for a visit. Sometime around 10:30 to 11 p.m., Deborah said, she checked on baby Lisa, then went down the hall and got in bed with the two boys. Before bed, Deborah leaves 3 cell phones on the kitchen counter, 2 with restricted use because of non-payment. It is believed only one worked normally. They all end up missing. 10:30 p.m. Samantha Brando is back home. She reportedly later said that she noticed the lights were turned off at Deborah and Jeremy's house. Some leads quickly emerged with possible sightings of a kidnapper. The next morning, 7-year-old Blake tells police he heard noises during the night. Also the next morning, the Parscals, who lived around the corner, told police what they had seen. Husband Onesto was leaving for his overnight shift, and wife Lisa was awake and inside. Once again, reporter Jim Spellman.
He thinks this is weird enough that he phones her in the house from the car and says, hey, come and take a look at this. And she sees this man walking up the street, holding a baby, not wearing clothes. And having been in the window where she could see this happening, and having been standing where his car was parked, it would not be a problem to view this, even though it's past midnight. There were plenty of street lights.
So show me exactly what you did. You looked out this window, tell me where your husband was, and tell me what you saw.
My husband was
Nobody's mind immediately goes to, oh, somebody's kidnapping this baby. That's what she told me. She said, my mind did not immediately think kidnapping. But the first thing in the morning when she saw this commotion going on was she told the police about this.
What time of night did she say she saw the man with the baby?
I'll tell you, and she had it exactly because she showed me the phone records from her husband calling her. 12:15.
12:15 a.m.
Stranger abductions put children in the most dire situation. And so we know time is ticking.
Callahan Walsh of the Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Those early hours are the most critical because within the first 2 hours, there's a 70% chance you'll recover the child deceased and about a 90% chance after 24 hours. In a case like this where we don't know exactly who took baby Irwin and it's a possibility that it's a stranger abduction, we know time is of the essence.
Was Lisa the baby in the man's arms? More suspicious things happen in those early hours. 2:30 a.m. There's a dumpster fire in a parking lot not too far from the Parscals' house. Could this be related? At 2:45 a.m., a nearby BP gas station surveillance camera shows a man in a light t-shirt emerging from the woods that bordered the neighborhood. It's too dark and grainy to see if he's carrying anything. And then, as I reported for Fox News at the time, Deborah's first account of her timeline gets a serious revision. Turns out she was drinking more than she originally claimed, and she's no longer sure about when she last saw her baby girl. When you went in at 10:30 after the neighbor left, what did you do?
Probably went right to my room.
Why do you say probably?
Because sometimes I check on her. Well, most of the time I check on her. And then the boys, so I'm assuming that I went and checked on her too, but I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
Let's talk about the wine. How much did you consume that day?
I had several glasses of wine.
When you say several, more than 3?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with her.
More than 5?
Probably.
More than 10?
No.
Was it just wine or was there
just
other
wine.
alcohol?
Just wine. Lisa was in bed and the boys were laying down watching a movie with the neighbor's daughter.
Were you drunk?
Yeah.
So the last time Deborah is sure she saw Lisa was at 6:30 p.m. before she started drinking. Could something have happened accidentally? Maybe Lisa fell or was dropped, or Deborah unknowingly rolled over on her while they slept. Or worse, did she deliberately kill her own child? At the very least, Deborah is drunk and unreliable. It was a tough interview. I went pretty hard on you.
Very difficult.
You fessed up. You said, I had a lot of drinks that night, someplace between 6 and 10, and I think I blacked out. Now, a lot of people wouldn't have admitted that. A lot of people would not have sat down with the press and said that at all. They would have been worried that it would have made them look some certain way.
I didn't care how I looked.
I mean, yes, Debbie drank.
Deborah's aunt, Cindy Lorette.
Debbie probably still drinks. It doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter. Sorry, I said that. We all do. And if you're the perfect parent, then good for you. Because this could happen to anybody. You don't plan on things like this to happen. You don't plan on turning the TV on and seeing one of your relatives missing, let alone a 10-month-old baby.
The door wasn't locked, right? Reporter Jim Spellman.
The door was not locked, but keep in mind that by her own admission, Deborah Bradley was drinking that night. I'm not sure that she could be trusted to confidently say whether she locked the door or not.
Obviously, they are our main focus. I'm not calling them suspects.
Knowing her timeline was problematic and wanting to prove to police she had nothing to hide, Deborah volunteered to take a polygraph. And then she took police remarks to mean she had failed it.
We were done and I was like, okay, so, what happens now? And he gets real close to me and he goes, I think that you're a very bad mother. And I just broke down. I said that it's not possible that I failed. And he just kept saying, I think you're a bad mother. You need to tell us what you did. And I just kind of fell apart. Not going to lie, my nerves, I actually wet myself because I couldn't believe what he was saying to me.
Exhausted and emotional, Deborah and Jeremy decide they have shared everything they can think of to help the investigation and need a break. But Kansas City police publicly criticized the couple for not continuing to talk to them. The news coverage is wall to wall.
Just a couple hours ago at a news conference held by Kansas City police and investigators in the case.
They've always been free. They've been cooperative up to this point, but early this evening they decided to stop cooperating with detectives.
Kansas City attorney Sean O'Brien.
And so the public impression was these parents had something to hide. And that came through on the news coverage.
All along, police said Lisa's parents, Jeremy Irwin and Deborah Bradley, cooperated with police until Thursday night.
Her parents are no longer cooperating with police.
I don't get it because as a parent myself, if my child was missing, I would give anything I have.
Despite the sighting of the man with the baby, 1 week into the case, police seem to have only one suspect, her mother. ABC News legal correspondent Dan Abrams asked Jeremy the question on everyone's mind. Could Deborah have done something accidentally?
No.
Maybe she tried to cover it up after.
No. The first time I even thought that was when the police had started asking us about it.
So just from the statistics standpoint, it didn't surprise me that law enforcement was really going after Deborah and also Jeremy.
That's Marissa Randazzo, the former chief research psychologist at the U.S. Secret Service. She would soon be tapped to work on this case.
From the criminal psychologist side of me, I wondered what involvement she or her husband might have had.
And so did I. And so did lots of people. But when Kansas City attorney Sean O'Brien started working with Deborah and Jeremy, he quickly realized no one was getting the whole story. You don't go out and buy a life jacket when the boat is sinking, and you don't buy gold when the economy has already collapsed. Clearly others are heeding this advice as gold hit all-time highs already this year. It's not too late for you, too, and you could have Birch Gold help you diversify into physical gold. Birch Gold specializes in helping you convert an existing IRA or 401k in whole or in part into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, and for no money out of pocket. One recent 5-star review said Birch Gold was, quote, knowledgeable, helpful, non-pressure. Get your free info kit on gold by texting the letters MK to the number 989898. There is no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews, text MK to 989898 and let the experts at Birch Gold help you secure your future today with gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.